Goody everyone, this is Dayhawk bringing to you my review of Kamen Rider Revice episode 15. This episode felt like it should have been placed in the tail end of the season. And I'll tell you why. It felt like I was watching Power Rangers in the sense of, in Power Rangers, knowing that we're in the tail end of the season, there's usually this plan where the villain gets the upper hand and they have to infiltrate their headquarters in order to rescue or to get something in order to defeat the big bad. And then either not the heroes, but mostly the main villain ends up destroying their own headquarters, leading up to the final episode where, the final showdown. This episode of Revice felt like it needed to be placed somewhere else, in my opinion. Angelia, I can't pronounce her name. I'm going to butcher it to the very end, I guess. Felt betrayed, used maybe, because she thought that she's gonna marry the fully resurrected Gifu. Apparently not, because Odeka didn't mention something to her, which is that she is a vessel for Gifu to inhabit. Because he mentions that the five of us were just going to give our energies to him, while you, the sixth sacrifice, is being officially sacrificed. Your body is going to be used as a vessel for Yufu to inherit because she is untainted by evil, supposedly. That's what Oteka said. And Julio is the only one who remains loyal to her, tries to save her, but his odds were bad. So he couldn't do much of anything at this point. And leading to this scene, which I enjoyed very much, is that Phoenix, before my favorite part, in my opinion, Phoenix is trying to get the Gifu stamp from the evil chameleon demon. And in order to do that, they need to infiltrate their base of operations. And George, with all of his genius, placed a bug on the stamp, and he knows where it is. The problem is it's deep underground, and they need to find a way to get inside, which, they will need every single Phoenix member to dig into the earth, and hopefully they could find some kind of cavern or fall into a cavern or cave to lead into the Deadman's headquarters. And that's where Kagero fits in. Iki and Sakura has been told about this plan by Daiji, and they're trying to find a way to get into the base underground, but they don't know how. And I believe either Sakura and Iki figured maybe we should ask Kagero. And Daiji was like, I don't think it's a good idea, man. He's a wild card, and it's going to be your own fault to deal with him in the long run. But at this point, I think it's easy to defeat Kagero and then bring out Daiji. But they're pretty desperate at this point. So and poor Daiji, he cannot conjure Kagero on his own, unlike, of course, Yugi, Bakura, Merrick. Well, maybe except Merrick, but Bakura and Yugi especially, they cannot switch spirits willingly, and just talk to him like, hey, so-and-so wants to talk to you. We need to switch. It doesn't work that way, I'm afraid. So guess what ends up happening? All three of them transform, and poor Daiji, I don't want to do this. I don't want this. And what ends up happening is Icky Rider kicks poor Daiji. And it worked. Oh man, can you imagine if they need Kagero and the only way to bring him out is to Rider kick him? Oh man, I can imagine all those bruises. And Kagero returns, and Icky is asking him for a favor, and Kagero was like, really? This is so unexpected, which it is. And pretty much tells him straight up, like, hey, you've been to the base before, tell us where it is. And Kagero wants something in return, which was eating spicy curry. That's the price to know the location of the hidden base, of the rebel base, quote unquote. And so they paid with spicy curry, and he told them where the base is. And then when he got his full, Kagero went back in, Daiji returns, and he has a burning sensation in his mouth. It would be much funnier if he just ran to the kitchen and just gobbled up a gallon's worth of water, because he's like, it burns. I enjoy that scene very much. The beginning scene, trying to get Kagero out, that part I enjoy the most. I have to be honest. And then let's see if I could remember. Oh, the god awful. This is the scene that I don't like, aside from the fact that we had a sneak peek of Papa-san's butt crack. I don't know why they did that. I don't want to see that. So once they discovered the location of the hidden base, all three of the siblings are going to go to Phoenix and then go to the base. But Mama-san was like, hell no, I don't, Daiji and Ikki can go, but Sakura needs to stay here. And Mama-san, I understand her concern, but I feel that she is being the overprotective mama. And Papa-san was like, it's okay, let her go. You need to trust your children more, which is true. Trust your children. Besides, if she indeed is in deep trouble, her brother's gonna take care of him. Even Ikki reassures him, like, don't worry, we're gonna take care of her if things go astray. So don't worry about it. But Mama-san is not gonna have it. And then freaking Vice went inside this, I don't know, this piggy bank, whatever, and ends up spilling out coins to cause a distraction, so they ran off. It's hilarious, but it's just like the butt crack thing was like, was it really that necessary? And meanwhile, back at the base, Angelica is strapped in the chair, and poor Julio could not do anything. And she willingly accepts being a sacrifice just to be with her quote unquote husband. And I'm like, really, girl? Really? Is that really what you want? At least try to fight back a little bit. It'd be like, there must be another way. I don't want to be a sacrifice. Find somebody else. I wish she would have done that, but she's just like, anything for Gifu-sama. I'm like, God damn it, man. God. Jesus. And so all 5 of them transform, and they're giving their energy to the frozen Gifu. And meanwhile, they finally found the base where they're full of cultists. Well, it's like first part heading into the base. So they discover the building. They find this group of cultists. Phoenix goes in, arrests them, and then Iki and Daiji went into the secret area. They set the password, Gracias, Deadman's, and then they got transported into the hidden base. And so they infiltrated the base. They cut the ceremony short. They have this big fight. When I saw this fight, the room it looked so cramped. Like, how can you fight in this small, cramped space? Like, kudos to all of them. Like, how can you fight in such a small space, especially where so many people are in there? It's crazy, I have to say. And so the monsters fight. They leave poor Angelica still strapped in the chair. I think Cove Love tried to release her binds, but it didn't work. And what else that happened? So they leave her to rot for the most part. And then, mind you, George was part of the infiltration team as well. And so he got curious of this weird looking statue. And Angelica was like, stop it, don't touch him, this and that. To the point where he was about to take the damn thing with him. I'm like, if you only knew what it was, you shouldn't be taking this creepy looking statue. My God, he's curious, man. He's very curious, but he's a scientist, so what do you expect? Scientists, I think, for the most part, need to be curious of what it is in order to experiment and this and that. So I understand. Hirumi is back as Kamen Rider Demons, and I don't know what's wrong with him, because every time he uses a V-stamp, he ends up getting, like, not injured, but more like his body cannot take the strain of its power, and he ends up he ends up collapsing, and he really needs to get himself checked, or maybe he just can't handle the power. I'm guessing, but eventually he will. But it's just, he gives me that vibe that he cannot handle its power because he keeps on collapsing so much. But yeah, he ends up defeating the chameleon. He's not to the point where, not by killing him, but he ends up defeating him. And during the fight, all 3 of the siblings defeated the crazy the crazy lawyer and the crazy charismatic one who became the Sabertooth V-Stamp and the other V-Stamp demon guy. They end up getting destroyed. And here's the interesting part. Their energy, their spirits went inside the Gifu statue. So if there's something I think Deka either doesn't know, or it's like, oh, I forgot to mention this, this, and this. He may know or he may not know. So I'm guessing that once Oteka, Julio, and the chameleon are ultimately killed, their energies is going to fuel Gifu to maybe resurrect himself without needing the sixth sacrifice. I'm guessing. I could be wrong. But here's the other thing. I have a hypothesis. I think that maybe Ikki is the final six, like I said earlier on. It's just, I'm not like how is he gonna be the vessel? Because Oteka had Angelica strapped in, and unless they could knock him out and just like, okay, Gifu, do your thing, and then Ikki becomes Gifu and that sort of thing. It could be that, I don't know. But I get the feeling that the sixth sacrifice could be Ikki. I could be wrong, but it's gonna be mighty interesting. What else? So the base is, I assume it was just a base, but then actually it turned into a spaceship. It's flying, going up from the ground and just flying like a UFO. Crazy, right? I'm guessing that was Gifu's energy activating the ship and just like causing it to fly. Before that, Sakura wanted to... No, not before that. It's after that, because Angelica is still trapped in there, and Sakura was like, I need to save her. And here's the part that I also didn't like. Ikki shouldn't be the one to untie Angelica. I feel like Sakura would have been the perfect choice to rescue her, especially with their history, because Sakura was approached by her and asking her, hey, do you want to join us? You know, we're a good team and you could get your revenge on your brothers for, you know, the same as what happened with Kagero and all that, being jealous and all that. We could offer you power and that sort of thing. And for Sakura to save Angelica, that would be like, I don't know, maybe poetic justice, maybe? I don't know. Saving the person who is trying to turn you to the dark side. I mean, to me, it'd been so much better. But Ikki, I don't like that. I didn't like that at all, in my opinion. And then the flying UFO, the flying Deadman base. This is another thing I didn't like. I didn't like the fact that Ikki used his V-stamps, and here comes this egg carton, and then here pops out the T-Rex, the lion, you know, all the forms he used forming them. I just didn't like that particular part where they just pop out from eggs and from an egg carton. I just didn't like that. To me, it's like too weird. I'm like, ugh, why did you do that? Just make them pop out as a ball of light and then come in and destroy the base. What else? So Ikki destroys the spaceship, and like I said before, I don't like the whole. I don't like their. Wow, I'm spacing out right now. I don't like their graphics. I really don't. Like I said before, I just don't like it at all. And Ikki destroys the ship, and Angelica is crying, yelling, Gifu-sama, Gifu-sama. And poor Julia's just trying to hold her back. And just everybody in that final scene is looking at the sky and just witness the destruction of the Deadman's base with Gifu on it. But I'm sure Gifu is somewhere. I'm sure he got enough energy to transport himself somewhere, so he's not really destroyed. He's somewhere. Oteka, he has his plans of his own. He's trying to take the world for his own. I'm not sure he's gonna work with the chameleon. So the Deadmans are divided right now, so we'll see. So that's the end of the episode. I mean, there's some dislikes, but the majority of the likes, I enjoyed the most. Like I said, it felt more like an episode that should have been placed in the finale-ish, before the finale, because I was getting Power Ranger vibes-ish on the season finale, because usually when the Rangers go to infiltrate their base, the villains end up destroying their base, then leading up to the final battle. That's what I felt like with this episode. It should have been placed some later, in my opinion. I enjoy Kagero's reappearance, and another thing too that I kind of knew from the back of my hand, that eventually Kagero and Daiji will come to an agreement. They will become partners. And there's no way Kagero's going to get destroyed, because, as we all know, if the vessel dies, the demon dies along with it. So, whether Daiji likes it or not, whether the family likes it or not, Kagero is here to stay. So I'm guessing later on during the season that Kagero and Daiji will need to talk to each other and say, hey, you've done all these horrible things, but you did some good as well. Let us be partners. You want to be friends with me? And let's see how that goes. I think if you throw the spicy curry as the price for his allegiance, and I'm sure he's willing to work with Daiji. But I'm getting this vibe that it's gonna happen, but I don't see him getting destroyed, so we'll see. I mean, I enjoying the whole Daiji and Kagero's thing, and I enjoy that scene very much, where the siblings are trying to get him out, but the only way to do that is to rider kick him. I'm like, I hope it's not an occurrence, because if I were Daiji, like, oh my god, we need to find a way to be able to switch at will and not require to get our asses whooped. Yeah, so it was a good show, and I thought this is going to be the last episode until the new year, but no. And a lot of people were like, oh, someone's going to die today, because usually the episode before Christmas is usually a sad episode because it's Christmas and someone we care about dies, but eventually comes back. But It didn't happen. It did not happen. Maybe not yet. I don't know. So we'll see what's going to happen. And I don't know if this is the final episode and then the next episode we'll be heading into a new arc. I don't know. It feels that way, but I don't know yet. But like I said before, great episode, but I wish it was placed into the tail end of the season. But that's just me. Give a like if you like it. Dislike if you dislike it. I don't care. What else? Give a comment down below if you like the episode. Do you dislike it? What is it? Let us be interactive. Also on Etsy, I'm selling prints of Kamen Rider Ark-One. We're trying to create more writers, but there needs to be a demand. So hopefully, if we buy more writer stuff, my friend can make more and sell Kamen Rider prints, Kamen Rider artwork for you guys. They're pretty good, trust me. Other than that, please subscribe, and I'll see you all on the other side of Oblivion. Johnny! Also, if I miss anything, also please comment down below. Okay, guys. Johnny!